Assalamu alaikum. This always happens, like I put it on to record and one of these kitty cats like to just come in front of the screen. So hopefully, oh gosh, I don't think I've introduced him. This is Tom. Say Assalamu alaikum. Joke. Anyway, are you going to sit down or are you going? I don't know. Okay, behave, okay. Or you can just nap here. Good boy. Just don't go to the camera. Move. Move. Yeah, he likes to sit near the window. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. As always, I'm going to try my best to not, like normal, these videos, I've always wanted them to be like unscripted, yet still really beneficial for you. Ignore that, he's just sat down at the window. Oh, love him. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So in this video, we're going to look at 3 habits that will help bring you closer to Allah, okay? Now, habit number 1. Actually, before we even start that, why is it so important, okay? And you know when faith was like a topic that was brought up to me as a child, or still that the way it's being taught in masjids and madrasas, in most places, some places have made progress, right? But in most, it's very like strict, and it's very much talking about all the masjids. They are always talking about, you know, the logistics as such, right? The day in, day out things that are a part of faith, like, you know, how many fasts to keep, what you should do when you have a child, or how to pray, how to, you know, everything, okay? Down to the T. But one thing we do miss out a lot on is the actual connection, right? The reason behind everything that we're doing. And it's so like, sorry, it's meant to be just a chilled out chatty video, right? So I don't want it to become something where I'm putting on air and graces. This is just me talking to you. Okay. So yeah, back to the topic at hand. It's always been very much regimented, right? This is what you do, this is how it goes, this is how you live your life as a Muslim. And you've also got a family to bring up, or you've going to college, you're doing this. You've got everything written down for you and like a roadmap of your life. But what actually adds the joy, what actually adds the love into everything you do is your connection with Allah, okay? And in this video, we're going to be looking at 3 ways in which you can become closer to Allah, okay? Literally, I've got them written down in my journal and I'm going to go through them with you, okay? The first one is to journal, okay? And there's like a whole module inside of Mina Community Framework Noor, right? And it's all about how you can become closer to Allah. And when it talks about journaling in there, we really go into depth about your day-to-day journaling, about those letters to Allah, about everything. Oh, by the way, there's my hamsters there, right? And he's just going to go have a look, but they should be sleeping right now. Behave, Tom. Back to the topic at hand. Right, so journaling, right? And in this video, the habit that I'm going to talk about in journaling is letters to Allah. And this, I absolutely love it. I'll share my story behind this, right? It was when I was like a young girl, went to a typical primary school, okay, in England. Growing up, you know, you think Santa's real. And I think I was about 7 years old that I found out, actually, he's not real. And that really hurt, right? But something in me at that point made me believe that that faith in Allah was just strengthening. And I remember it was around that time we learnt about carrier pigeons. So I must have been in like year 3, 4, so about 6, 7 years old. And in our garden in Southampton, there'd be like this wall where pigeons would come and sit at times. And it wasn't easy, but I kid you not, I went and tried getting hold of one. And I tied this little piece of paper. It was pink. I still remember it today. And on that piece of paper, I wrote down my wishes. And I tried tying it onto that pigeon. And I thought that, okay, this pigeon will get my message to Allah. And I was really sure about that, right? And then as years went on, we learnt about Anne Frank and we learnt about keeping diaries. So I used to keep a diary, used to write in there. I think when I was about 11 years old, my mum passed away. So those Dear Diaries turned into Dear Mum letters. It was in like 2003. I was a teenager, I think about 14, 13 around that time. And I remember my faith in Allah was strengthening because I was at boarding school. Yeah, I think there was that one year, that third year, where looking past all the logistics and all the hows and to-dos in faith, I built that connection with Allah. Yeah, so as that faith in Allah was growing, I was like, okay, pain actually, that pain of losing my mum was subsiding. It was still there, but very much that love of Allah was overtaking it. And I remember at that point, my Dear Diaries and letters to Dear Mum changed to Dear Allah. I just carried on. Like, I think for a good few years, I used to write my letters to Allah. A time in my life where it was time to leave high school. And as I was leaving, I was thinking, well, I'm a grown-up now, and grown-ups don't keep diaries. And grown-ups definitely do not write letters to Allah. And that's where that part of my life stopped. I got into the hustle and bustle of being an adult, of, you know, getting married, having children, going to uni, becoming a teacher, all these things that I thought were expected of me, and all these things that I was taught, was made to believe were important. These are the reasons why you will be successful. But as I'm going through it all right, I'm thinking, why don't I feel successful? Why do I feel just so let down? There is just, like, I'd achieved it all, okay? But at that point, I still remember, I'm not going to go into it in this video, but it was my lowest of low points. And I remember that day, but in that moment was the moment where I started to rediscover faith for myself, for who I am, not for anyone else, not for my family, not for my husband, not for my dad, my grandma, anyone. It was just me, and where my faith led me to Allah. And I remember it was in the September, October of 2020, when my head hit the floor again in sujood, in prayer to Allah. And oh my goodness, I felt like I was back home. I felt that peace again that I did in 2003. From there, the tears rolled, the letters to Allah came back. Life took a 360 and I ended up going on that personal development journey. I sought counselling from a non-Muslim, right? Which is absolutely fine at that point, because alhamdulillah, I think my faith at that point was at a stage where nothing could come in between me and Allah. And I feel like it's still there. I continued. Now, a lot of people do worry about writing these letters to Allah and people finding them. I can assure you today, you can write them in such a way that it does not take away from the beauty. Also doesn't make other people know, you know, what you're writing. I'll go deeper into those letters in another video if you want. But also, if you do want to access the workshop, you can do by joining me in a community, right? Literally, it's only like $6.99 a month and so much benefit from it. Another habit that brings you closer to Allah, it's, the second one, is your 5 alhamdulillahs. And I know, like, gratitude and all that has had such a big, like, social media breakout thing. Everybody goes on about gratitude. But don't knock it until you've tried it, my love. Literally, it was around that time, so I think it was 2021, right? I started to do my 5 Alhamdulillahs consistently for the first 3 months. And no lie, right? When you repeat an action and it becomes a habit and it goes into your subconscious, the way you're living just completely changes. I remember Mel Robbins' thing about, I can't remember, 5-second rule or something about drawing. Anyway, it was a habit that stuck and it was so positive. And it's the same with these 5 Alhamdulillahs. If you write them down, like seriously, not on your phone, okay? Not on some digital device. No, don't even use an iPad and pen. Get your pen to paper and just write, because you will see a change, okay? Hit yourself up for 3 months. You will see how much it changes your life and it brings you closer to Allah and the joy it brings your life, okay? By writing those Alhamdulillahs, if something's like really bugging you, right, in your life right now, like, ugh, I absolutely hate my job. Search for what you love in your job, right? And just write it down. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to, never change that job or be grateful for what you have. No, it's nothing about that at all. It's about your brain trying to find the good in everything that's going on. There is good in the bad, right? Life's all about balance. Life is literally all about balance. So if something really bad is going on in your life right now, balance it out with something that's going on really good. And I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but you know how people always say there's a light at the end of the tunnel? I want you to stop looking at that light at the end of the tunnel. Like, that is hope, right? That's different. What we're talking about here is every hardship you're going through in life right now, there is ease. Because a lot of times I'd say to somebody, right, like, gosh, I'm going through this right now and it's really hard. And they'd be like, don't worry, after hardship, there is ease. And I'm like, okay. But during that point, it was such a struggle. And then I picked up the Quran and I read it myself, okay? And when I read it like to the T, like literally, there's still so much I've got to discover. But when I read that verse of the Quran, with hardship comes ease, every single word Allah writes is purposefully written, okay? There's just no coincidences. There's nothing made up. Allah has chosen every single word. And it's beautiful because Allah writes, with every hardship, not after every hardship, but with your hardship, there is ease. So when you're going through something difficult in your life, you're going through a breakup, you're going through a loss, right? Somebody's passed away that you really love. With that hardship, there is ease. In that moment, you get to choose to go through that point in your life with that hardship, or to look and change your focus to what is ease. That does not mean you don't look at the problem in hand, okay? So important to realize that. You go through that problem, but you focus on the positives that are in your life at that point as well. Okay, now, just going to reiterate, so far, we've got the first habit that will bring you closer to Allah is journaling some letters to Allah, okay? Another habit to bring you closer to Allah will be your 5 Alhamdulillahs. That's my little boy at the background, and I'm going to tell him to shoo and close the door, please. Thank you very much. Right. Okay, so the last one is, talking to Allah before bed. I'm going to bring in another habit, aren't I? I'm going to make it 4. And although I'm saying before bed, if your mornings are a bit better, do it in the morning. But start off with just doing either one, okay? Either talking to Allah in the morning or talking to Allah at night. I think the reason why I've said night for you if you're beginning out is because in the morning, you'll have so much going on that you'll end up just jumping out of bed, running out if you've got things going on, or if you've got like a crying baby, you'll have this baby crying and you're just going to not be focused at that point. You will get to a point, inshallah, where you can talk to Allah even in the mornings, but start off with at night time. And there is, forget science behind it. Honestly, it's all in the Quran, like I've always said, right? Alhamdulillah. So Allah, a lot of the times, Allah always talks about the morning and the evening. So when my son opened the door, he let the other cat in. Let's hope they don't make a big hoo-ha in the background, right? Okay, back to this. So, morning and night. Now in the evening, you're shattered, right? You've had a full-on day, you're about to go to bed. You're either on your phone, I do it, okay? You're on your phone, you either go to sleep watching a bit of Netflix, just anything to help you doze off, okay? Now, I want you to see if you can try doing this in the coming week, okay? And bring it into something you do daily. Whatever you do, okay? I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Just do what you're doing. And after you finish with that, clear your mind by talking to Allah. I'm not going to say clear your mind and then talk to Allah, okay? Because what ends up happening, you know how people say meditate, right? To get to that stage of meditation where you've completely cleared your mind is, you know, really difficult. You've got to take those baby steps. So at the beginning, talking to Allah before bed, what that means is talking to Allah about your day. You're not a mad woman because, you know, we've all got voices, right? We've got all these things going on in our head all the time. So take that time to just talk to Allah. And please, if you do any of these, just leave me a message in the comments, because I'd love to know if any of these helped you become closer to Allah, right? And I'm giving you 3 habits in this video. Just do one. Start off with one and carry on with it, because honestly, it will completely transform your life. And in the next video, inshallah, I'll go into more depth with each one and I'll explain it more, and we'll use them as ways to become closer to Allah. So we'll just do a little series, like 3 weeks, yeah, of these little videos that will go into depth with each point and help you become closer to Allah. If you've got any comments, if you've got anything that you've taken away from this video, please share it in the comments. And if you want to join the community and get like everything, right, get so much more value, yeah, the next step you can take for that is just join me in a community, right? And I pray it's helpful for you, because this, right, what I do, I only have one purpose, one motive behind it all. And well, the main motive, right? And that main motive is to help you achieve success in your eternal success, right? That's it. Help you achieve eternal success alongside myself. So please, when you pray, just remember me. That is all I need from you. Because success has so many definitions, right? And I've had to go through quite a few to finally find which one I want. And my success is by ensuring that my main purpose is fulfilled, that I am first and foremost worshipping Allah and then doing everything else. And I pray that is what comes for you as well. Over time, when you're a part of this MENA community, a part of Club Kahf, you learn how to put Allah first. Because when you put Allah first, you're putting yourself first, right? And once you can do that, then you can go on to doing everything else. This whole new age thinking is all good, but it doesn't always align with us, because for us, we can't put ourselves first. We're not supposed to put ourselves first. And please close the door, whoever that is. I'll come in a minute, right? For whoever you are, what you've got to do is always put Allah first. So, inshallah, I'll see you again next week, and I pray this video was beneficial and you've had some takeaway. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.